Hi there, Clive Evans again, reporting from the Meluc Valley in Ireland, week 3 of our series of videos. Today is Wednesday, and we're outside today because what I wanted to try and get across to you today is life goes on. There's a lot going out in the world, and we'll come back to some of that later on, but hey, life goes on here, and in fact, if you look out around you, you can see that we're surrounded by fields, and life goes on in those fields. In one of those fields behind me, I photographed my neighbours Christy and Mary, who farm the area around us and our fields as well. And they're sheep farmers, and it's lambing time. And guess what? These two wonderful little lambs were born at 5 o'clock yesterday morning. Terrific, huh? Life really does go on, doesn't it? And that's part of what we're talking about. If life's going to go on, how are you going to prepare yourself for it? But I guess, first of all, you want to know about some financial stuff, because Yachting Financial Solutions is financial stuff, isn't it? Well, more about that later. But possibly some good news on the horizon. Interesting things coming out of China, not just COVID-19. Some good news. So we're going straight across to London, which will be a great contrast to here, to Stephen Nguyen, who wrote this terrific piece that I picked up yesterday, and I've asked him to record this today specially for you. So Stephen Nguyen at Momentum Asset Management, he's on next.
It is important to try to sketch a positive scenario into our outlook, and where better to look for inspiration for a positive spin on events than China, which went into complete lockdown since the end of January. So what can we learn, and more importantly, what can we expect? The draconian measures taken by the Chinese authority in late January have shown promising results in tackling the spread of the virus. While the rate of infection has been accelerating globally, China has seemingly managed to keep it contained, with only a few cases reported last week, and these are largely coming from people entering from overseas. Shanghai has had no reported cases for 14 consecutive days. This is a very encouraging result, and one in which Western countries can draw great hope. The extent to which Western citizens comply with these measures will have a major impact on slowing the spread of the virus and in determining how quickly before we can resume normality. China is beginning to lift restriction. Activity levels have materially recovered. Anecdotal evidence suggests that higher footfall on the streets of Shanghai and other major cities, plus rising traffic levels. Traffic flow on both highways and business districts is widely reported to be reaching 70 to 80% of pre-lockdown level. It is reasonable to expect China, the original epicenter of the COVID-19 crisis, to be ahead of the curve in dealing with the outbreak, and will likely to lead the way in economic recovery once the storm passes. As of this morning, the Chinese Caixin PMI came in at 50.1. This is very encouraging result, considering that the number posted last month was around 40. Financial markets tend to reflect changes in outlook for economies and corporate earnings well ahead of fundamentals, and this should mean that most of the negative news is largely priced in today. Barring a significant worsening of the virus impact, such as an uncontrollable wave of second and third round infections, markets have the potential to recover strongly from current levels. The Chinese equity market is a good example of this. The market bottomed in early February, at the time where the virus peaked. It subsequently fell further in the following weeks due to the weaker outlook for global growth outside of China. But as of today, it is still by far the best performing market globally year to date. We are not medical experts and have no edge in forecasting how the pandemic will play out. But what we can say and observe is that market participants have moved to discount a global financial crisis style outcome for many risky assets. But this is not 2008. We do not have a financial crisis. With continued preventative measure being in place, we are optimistic that the outbreak will be brought under control. A recovery is a matter of when and not if. And while it is futile to try and pick the exact turning point, we know that markets are likely to move higher in advance of any economic and humanitarian recovery.
So maybe there's hope after all. Life does go on, doesn't it? It's going to. And what I want to talk about today is how possibly your life could be going on, because You know what? Many of our clients out there are busy making other people's dreams come true. That's what people, certainly in the yachting and hospitality industry that we look after, spend their life doing. They're looking after other people's dream lives. And sadly, so often we see people not creating their own dream lives as a result of that. They're kind of living somebody else's dream. And what I want to suggest to you today is, hey, listen, if you've got time, which you probably have more of than you've ever had before, in recent years anyway, this is time to focus on yourself. Because, you know, you should make sure that you're the center of your life, not somebody else. It's all about being okay with that. Yeah, make sure you are. It's perfectly okay to look at yourself and say, hey, am I the important thing here? And part of that is understanding the stuff that my friend Anrik Blatt taught us last week. These fabulous Venn diagrams of his. Let's just show them to you again. You see, what you've got to focus on is, if you want to try and take control of your life, let's focus on the things that matter first of all. You know, focus on the things that matter. What matters to you? And we'll go into that in a bit. What matters to you? And fundamentally, once you've isolated that, then the Venn diagram points out to us what really matters to you. 98% of it, all of it doesn't really matter. There's only some key things that do. What of these things can you control? Where that overlap is where you need to concentrate, and that's where we're going to take you. We're going to take you there and try and get you to think about things a bit, rather than just blatter on about lambs and stuff, but there is a point. Hey, if you can take control of some stuff in your life, then the next bit is to really get even cleverer and say, well, okay, what can I take control of? And how can I schedule steps to make sure I really do take control of them? What matters? What can I control? What can I schedule to do about all of these things? And the first thing you can schedule is right now. You can schedule time for yourself. That's all you've got to do. Is you've got to say to yourself, what matters to me? What do I really want out of all of this? What are my dreams? What are my hopes? What are my aspirations? What really matters in my life to me? Probably shouldn't be just making a pile of money. It should be living the best life you can possibly be and coming out of it with a dream life if you possibly can. Do you know, I've come to realize over the last 3 weeks that this is a bit of a dream here. I'm having a lovely time surrounded by fields. The noise you can hear in the background is Teresa's horse going foof, foof, foof. Dogs are running about. It's cool. It really is cool. It's a dream. It's my dream. It's not anybody else's. And I created that. And we can show you how to do this. But first of all, you need to identify what's important to you. You need to have the strength inside yourself to say, I am going to use this time to do something for me, not for other people. Do you know, I've had people, you know, in my social scene, kind of on WhatsApp, kind of go, oh, I found this really nice jigsaw. Wow, why not do something really cool? Because life goes on. That's what I proved to you this morning, I hope. You know, out here, Christy and Mary said to me this morning, I said, how's it going for you? They said, nothing changed here. We've had 100 lambs born in the last 2 weeks. That's pretty bloody hard work. They're up at 5 o'clock in the morning all the time. And that's like normal. Nothing's really changed for them. They haven't got time to go out and socialise and stuff like that. Really, life has carried on for them, as it has for nearly everybody around here, just the same as it did before. Yes, all sorts of things going on out in the world, but the key issue that I want you to concentrate on is, how are you going to come through this the best for you and come out with the best life for you that you possibly can? And this wouldn't be a Mealuck Valley broadcast if I didn't finish it off with a Winston Churchill quote, would I? And that's kind of relevant to the current time, because you might be getting disheartened. Try this. This is good stuff. You know, think about all these lambs bouncing about. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Life carries on. Look at all these little lambs. I want you guys to have the courage to reach into yourself and look at yourself and say, what the hell am I trying to do here? And let's see if we can help you talk about it. See you next week.